Another week has passed, ladies and gentlemen, and that can only mean one thing. Yep, I've got another 5 random camps to show you. Now, these haven't been submitted to me, they're just some random builds that my good friend Silver Bunny has found whilst wandering the Wasteland. So, with all that being said, let's take a look at them. So first up, we have The Shed by DGB 1974. And guys, this is the first time I'm seeing these builds, so I don't know what to expect. However, from the outside, it looks like we're off to a decent start. It's a fairly solid looking camp. I am rather impressed how immersive this build is. It looks wastelandy, it looks scrappy, I've got no complaints there whatsoever. In a nutshell, pal, you've done a half decent job on it. Now, as well as your camp, I'm impressed with your choice of location. It's not a very common one, and it's not the easiest to build in, either. The terrain on either side of this rope bridge, while it's not, mad difficult to get a camp down, it isn't exactly the most builder-friendly location. Terrain's a little bit rough, there's wendigos that spawn here as well, which can cause a little bit of havoc. What I'm saying is, easier locations exist. Other rope bridges as well. So yeah, fair play to you for sticking with this spot. Now, on to the interior, and it pretty much matches the outside. It's what you'd expect. We've got a scrappy looking build with loads of junk knocking around. The interior's pretty much the same. It is indeed extremely well decorated. It looks full, it looks immersive, and you can tell you put a bit of thought into it as well. Yeah, again, I can't find a single thing wrong with it. Properly solid build, this one, ladies and gents. I am impressed. It's simple, well decorated, and it works nicely. Right, so this next camp is indeed the second coming of Jesus. Christ almighty, that is... that is bright. Burnt retinas aside though, this is the Barbie Pad by La Bella. And you know what, right? Once you get used to the violent shade of pink, it's actually a really nice looking build. Now, it's not for everybody, obviously. Not every guy and gal is into Barbie, but I'm actually liking this. Now, colour aside, and I don't actually hate pink, to be honest with you. It looks good in some situations. I think it's a smart camp. I love how clean it is, and that's not something I usually say, but I think being set up in this kind of little compoundy fashion, I really can't fault it. Now, the buildings aren't complicated by any means. They're very simple. But guys, you don't always have to do some complex monstrosity to make it stand out. I mean, just paint the bloody thing pink and everybody in the Wasteland will see it. No, serious now, right? You don't have to do complicated shit to make your camp look cool. And this is a good example. You can't tell me it's not unique and it doesn't look decent. And it's bloody practical too. Look, she's got a little garden going on there. We've got some workbenches. We've got a house to live in. What more could you want? Now, on to the interior side of things. And yeah, there's not really too much to say, is there? It's nicely decorated. Again, very simply decorated. But in the words of our great god, Todd Howard, it just works. Bella, I never thought I'd say this about a bright pink modern home in the middle of the White Springs, but that is a seriously cool camp you've got there. Camp number 3, we have the Tiny Getaway by Baphomet Babe. What a fucking fantastic name that is. Baphomet. Is that something to do with Knights Templar or something? I vaguely remember. Anyway, I digress. What can I say about this camp? Well, I am a fan of it already because this is the kind of stuff I did a few years back when I first got into Fallout. This kind of slopey ski ramp kind of style, I always called it. I don't know the correct term, but I think they look cool, especially when they're done decently like Baphomet's done here. Now, yes, it is rather unusual, and again, it's not to everybody's... It's not to everybody's personal taste. Personally though, like I said, I like the uniqueness of it. You don't see many structures looking like this in Fallout, do you? Especially not near the White Springs either. This place is usually filled with... I don't even know how to describe them. Ginormous market stalls, effectively. You'll know what I'm on about if you saw one. Anyhow, enough of all of that. Let's take a look at the interior of this build. And yeah, this is really, really well put together inside of here, guys. I'm a massive fan of that bathroom area. It's really cleverly done. I'm not sure what the camera's doing there, but I mean, whatever floats your goat. Overall, this interior and the camp itself, really, is a 10 out of 10 from me. Let me know what you guys think in comments. Like I said, it's quite an unusual one. So, on to our 4th camp, and this is Uncle Bob's by Flow 1824. I'm not sure who Uncle Bob is, but here's his house, guys. And you know what, saying that, is it Flow 1824 or is it Flowell? I'm actually not sure now. We'll just go with the Flow. Now, this camp seems to be another low-friendly, immersive kind of build. And yet again, it's also very, very simple. There's nothing complicated about the structure at all, guys. However, it is very well decorated. It's a decent-sized camp. You're not going to be struggling for room in this place at all. But yeah, overall, it's the kind of typical build you do see in the Wasteland, and I'm not meaning that as a bad thing. It's simple, it's effective, it gets the job done. Where this camp really does stand out though, yeah, is the interior decor. This is pretty damn awesome. Now, you know me guys, I am a fan of the scrappy side of shit rather than the cleaner stuff, so naturally my favourite part of it is the little workshop area here. I love how packed to the rafters the gaff is, and it looks natural as well. It looks like people have placed the stuff there. So yeah, fair play to you on that one, Flo. In your little housey area, where you've gone just a tad bit more clean, again, I can appreciate the decor. You've not done a bad job on it. But as I say, I think that garage and workshop area, it really sells this build. Though it's a pretty chilling build you've got here. Yes, I have seen similar builds all across the Wasteland, but I don't think I've ever seen one quite as well decorated. You really did nail that aspect. So our fifth build is Turkey's End by Arcanet, or Acornet. I don't know. You decipher that name however the bloody hell you want to. Now, first thoughts on the camp, this looks awesome. This is a decent build, properly well done. You can tell that Arcanet or Akanet has a fair bit of camp building experience, guys, just by the use of the fireplaces as wall pieces. I know that doesn't sound like much, but little tricks like that usually give you an indication of, you know, how much people enjoy building and how much time they put into it. Right then, so overall, I love the structure. Like I said, I do like the fireplaces. It'll be interesting to see if you've merged two together or they are indeed open inside your camp. That's going to be an interesting one. I think the only thing I dislike about this entire build is the roof pieces. What they call, they look like something off fucking Wacky Races, like a dragon's going to pop out of them. I don't know, I can't remember, but that's just a mild critique. Overall, it's quite a complicated camp, and it looks spot on. So, onto the interior, and that is exactly what I wanted to see. You've merged the fireplaces together, and they look like proper walls. Guys, again, it doesn't seem like much, but it's stuff like that that shows me how much love the person has put into the build, and you can tell that Arcanet has done. In this case, they've put a lot of bloody love into it. Guys, this is a quality camp. There is no other way of putting it. The exterior, aside from them roof pieces, looks incredible, and it's quite tricky as well. The interior is very much the same, beautifully well put together, and looks phenomenal. Honestly, I can't fault this camp one little bit, and I think this is my favourite out of the ones that Bunny's found this week. Good job with this, Arcanet. Acornet, please let me know what your bloody name is in comments. Right, so usually this is where we would call it a day. We've shown 5 camps and that should be the end of it. However, due to me being AWOL next week, we have got an extra camp to show you. And here it is. The Ango Camp by Cox1181, or is it Coxy81? Buddy, these fucking fonts! We're just going to go with Cox from here on out. That's exactly what she said as well. Fuck, I walked into that. Anyhow, onto this camp, and right off the bat, kudos to you for building a camp like this. It's not easy, is it? It's a floating bugger, but you've also incorporated it into a pre-existing camp location. Guys, for those of you who aren't aware of this spot, it is actually a pre-existing tightrope. I think it's just down from foundation, although I could be wrong, I have been in past. Now then, the way that Cox has actually used the tightrope to support the camp is very impressive indeed. To build a floating camp isn't too difficult, guys. It really isn't. However, to build one here, fitting perfectly up to that tightrope, that's no easy feat. So yeah, massive fucking respect to you for actually getting a camp up here and making it fit up so well. Impressive work indeed. The structure itself, I'm not exactly sure what it's supposed to be. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be anything. It's just a platform that's been turned into an home, isn't it? But there's no wrong with that at all. I think it looks bloody excellent. The use of the containers is a nice touch. They are severely underutilised. When they first came out, every bugger were using them. Now, you seldom see them. It's a shame, really. They're a cool bit of kit. You can do some pretty sweet stuff with them. Decor-wise, I'm not expecting too much on this because there isn't much exterior space, but let's zoom in and have a ganders. Yep, I was totally wrong, and I'm going to eat my words. I told you, I chat out my arse sometimes. This thing is extremely well decorated, and there is a lot of stuff in here. I was not expecting this. What an excellent bloody job you've done filling this container up, and with a store as well, of all things. I like it. While we're here, let's take a ganders at the other container, and wow, yet again, I am shocked. Literally filled to the rafters with shit. Very impressive work. I'm blown away by this, how much crap you've managed to get into such a small space. Ah, yeah, phenomenal work with this camp all round. Difficult to build, really, really tricky camp location to use, and well decorated. Hats off to you, mate. And that just about does it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As I said, I'm off next week. I won't be doing the top 5 or doing this, and I may be off the week after. I don't know yet. I need to just go and have a little de-stress. As ever, I'd like to say a massive thanks to Silver Bunny for actually getting all this footage, doing all the editing, basically making the whole video for me. It is much appreciated. I will leave a link to a channel down in the description. If any of you watching could head on over there and show us some love, that would be most welcome. Anyhow, as I say, North, I'll love you and leave you. I'll catch you at next one. Have fun.